Spark
with
of
the
Everflame.
triangle today. Woo!
She actually wrote book 2 first and then went back.
Oh, I love a good old person with a crazy vision.
Rein in this like feral creature in his kingdom. Welcome to the Besties in the Books podcast, guys. I'm Liz.
And I'm Ashley. And today we are going to be delving into the first book in the new series that we're covering. So book 1 of the Kindred Curse Saga, Spark of the Everflame by Penn Cole, aka New York Times bestselling debut author of this series, who we actually got to interview recently. So of course, that was such an exciting opportunity. We met her at the Romantasy Book Con and like instantly it was just such a vibe. She was so sweet, so nice. So we reached out to them and got that set up so that way we could have that for you guys. Of course, we will link that interview down in the description box so you guys could check that out too. That one is a spoiler-free interview.
Yep.
So if you want to find out all about the books and you don't want to get spoiled, well, there you go.
Yeah, find out if you want to read them, find out more about Penn Cole, her behind the scenes. I mean, she's just a really fascinating person, I think. And yeah, we were just so happy that we were able to interview her. Specifically, you know, we heard her talk a lot about strong female characters and kind of more like feminist themes in books at Romantasy Book Con. And so that's kind of what we want to talk about when we are delving into this, you know, Spark of the Everflame series, how it kind of sets itself apart a little bit within the romantasy genre, for sure.
Well, I think sometimes knowing authors are intentional with those themes, like, surprisingly refreshing. You know, sometimes I think that we as readers are set apart. Like, we don't like know how deep it goes. So to hear her talk on those panels, we were totally inspired. We're like, Liz shoved the like notebook she was writing in. She's like, put her on the podcast. I'm like, yes, definitely. Yeah. Because we just knew she'd be such a good fit for you guys, for us to talk to, just to get to know her and behind the scenes a little bit more and all those themes that she incorporated into this series.
Yeah. So we're deep diving it, guys. We are deep diving all these books. We're so excited. If you guys aren't following along on Fable at Besties in the Book Club, we do have a Fable chat up for book 1. So the book we're covering today, Spark of the Everflame, and actually for book 2, Glow of the Everflame, because you guys voted it twice in a row as book club book.
Yeah.
So yeah, you know, if you want to go over there and see our chapter by chapter, you know, little commentaries, chit chat amongst yourselves about things, everything's spoiler free over there on Fable because you only read the chapter that, you know, you're clicking on. And so feel free to go in there and make your comments. And then also, you know, by the time this video goes up, we will have a live covering books 1 and 2 that you guys can go interact with and watch over on Instagram. And that will actually cover both books 1 and 2 as well. And it'll be a different format than these deep dive episodes. So you'll be getting completely different stuff out of that. If you need more Spark of the Everflame content because the series is so good, feel free to go over there and check that out too.
It's kind of like the series I've noticed, like everybody's talking about right now.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
everybody's reading and everybody's loving. So that way you get that fix. Hopefully, you know, we can bring that to you guys. All the talk, all the things. Yeah. And we're dropping the other books every other week. So make sure you're liking and subscribing so you get notified because we're doing the other books too.
Exciting. I am loving this journey 100,000,000%. And, you know, today we're going to be doing our reaction style deep dive video. But we are going to have specific questions where we kind of address, you know, what sets the main characters apart, what kind of feminist themes we can find in Spark of the Everflame and why we think those are important. We'll go over, you know, our favorite characters, least favorite, our favorite tropes, etc., which you've come to expect at this point. But we're going to dive a little bit deeper with some other, like I said, specifics. So that if that sounds good to you, stick around. Keep in mind that the first 15 minutes or so will, as usual, be spoiler free, though. So if you want to just hear our basic Star and Spice reviews to see if you want to proceed, we will give you the heads up once we get into spoiler section. But before we get into that, we just want to say thank you so much for being here.
Yes, thank you guys so much for being here and taking time out of your day and your book to tune on into us and hear what we have to say about Spark of the Everflame and any other topics that we bring to you guys every Tuesday. Make sure to like, follow, and subscribe anywhere you like to listen to your favorite podcast, including YouTube. And you guys, you can now comment along on Spotify. So cool. So you can let us know right now if you're listening on Spotify and you're not driving. Like, hey, this is what I thought of this book, whatever it may have you. And of course, you can always comment down on YouTube. And if you guys give us a little thumbs up, that helps our channel out a lot. If you are able to do that, if you're ever able to leave us a review where you listen to your podcast, we read those periodically and it just means so much to us. Yeah, we're Besties in the Books podcast everywhere. And Fable, we're at Besties and the Book Club over on that app.
Yes.
Yeah.
So let's just kick this off with a fave and fail of the week, shall we? Just of the week.
We shall.
Just the regular old week. What have you been up to?
Regular old weeky week. Okay, so my fave this week is that my husband and I finally started The Last of Us.
Oh, like season 1.
Season 1.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had a lot of people DM me because I posted it. Like, but season 1? Like, you're starting at the beginning. Like, well, yeah, I'm way behind. So, but not too bad because there's only 9 episodes in the first season. So we're already at, I think we finished episode 5 yesterday. So,
do you like it?
It's I do like it. I like zombie stuff. So I went in completely blind. And I gotta say, I already know a big spoiler for season 2, and I'm still going to watch it anyways, like before I even started, because people were posting all over about it. But I was like, hey, you know what? Oh, well, whatever. Because, hey, so I do like zombie stuff. And no, I've never played the video games, but I could see how freaking stressful that video game would be because it's very, like, we're tense the whole time. So, yeah.
That's funny.
I'm not... Yeah. I can't explain it, but I'm not obsessed with it, but I want to watch it. Does that make sense? I'm not like, because Walking Dead I was obsessed with before it got really boring and monotonous. Yeah. And it's also really gross. Have you ever watched it?
No, I never watched. Wait, are you talking about Walking Dead or The Last of Us?
No, The Last of Us.
I did watch all of season 1. Yeah, me and my husband watched season 1. I didn't really like it. So yeah, I could continue. Like if he watches it, I might fade in and out. I might like read my book and like pay attention occasionally. But I don't really care. This is my marker. If I get to the end of a season of a show and I like it's like the same with a book. If I don't care what happens to these characters, then I'm kind of like, meh, I could take it or leave it. And I actually looked up the spoiler for season 2 because I saw all these like people freaking out about what happens in season 2, episode 2. And I was like, I'm just going to spoil it for myself. And that still didn't really compel me to continue watching. And so like I said, if my husband watches it, cool. If not, whatever. Like I just wasn't sucked in by it.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It wasn't bad, but I just wasn't sucked in.
Like we're enjoying it, but I wouldn't. If we couldn't binge it, good luck. I would forget about it. Yeah. So I'm a little nervous because season 2 right now only has 3 episodes. And I'm like, how often are they dropping and how many are they dropping at a time?
Probably once a week.
Like you're going to lose us basically because I'm enjoying it. I like the ride. It's a little gross, but I'm interested. But also I probably don't care either. Yeah. So it's a weird headspace to be in. Yeah. But it's something for us to do as a couple. So, hey.
Yeah, no, that's good. Yeah. We're watching The Righteous Gemstones right now.
Oh, yeah. We got to go back to that. And so we keep saying that every time we go to sit down, but we weren't like in the mood for something funny. He wasn't feeling great. It was all rainy outside. I'm like, let's watch something super depressing. Sounds good. Let's go. So Last of Us it was.
Yeah. I mean, I think you guys were the ones that told me to watch that show originally. And it's so freaking good. And I feel like it just gets more and more unhinged. Like we're all the way caught up at this point. And I'm just like, I love this show. It's so funny.
Yeah. At this point, Jeff said the other day, he's like, we just have to restart. And I'm like, you're right. Oh, darn. Let's restart it, But you just have to be in the certain zones for certain things. So and that's like nonstop laughter, which is great, but he needs to feel better to do that. So at this point, because I remember we tried to pick up on one of the seasons and we're like, wait, I don't remember any of this. And I'm like, well, I watched it. So we don't even know where we are anymore.
Oh, okay.
So we'll just have to restart it. It's a good one.
Yeah.
And then my fail, we'll just keep on the show theme. Why not? Is that I haven't watched Severance season 2 yet. So, and that's not even my fault. That's my husband's fault because I told him he needs to watch the first one because it's so good. None of you guys are listening to me, Liz.
Sorry.
But I also understand. Now I don't think he'll respect it. So I don't want him to watch it. So now I'm just going to watch season 2 because it's very slow. I get it. You know, you have to be like in the right zone. You got to be in that space. And he's more of a surface level watcher for him. Like not a deep thinker. I don't, that sounds bad.
He likes more of like an entertaining, like fast paced show. That's probably what you mean. Yeah.
Yeah, he
Although
doesn't
The Last
like
of Us
those.
is not fast paced.
It's not, but it's hard for him. It is. Like I have to constantly like reel him back in, you know? So he likes the action parts of the shows, but there's like been a couple episodes already that are really like slow.
Yeah.
And so it pulls him out. So I don't think he'll last for Severance. Like watching him watch this, I'm like, never mind. I'll just watch Severance by myself. So I need to watch season 2.
Well, you know, you told me to watch The Righteous Gemstones. I'm all the way caught up on that. Okay. I don't watch very much TV, so it takes me forever. My sister wants me to watch this other show with freaking James Marsden that she says is really good. You're telling me to watch Severance. I'm like...
But you have to be in the right zone for it, you know? That's like a stormy weather binging show. Yeah. I think.
Yeah, and then we're watching the new season of The Handmaid's Tale right now. So it's like there's just a lot. I can only watch so much TV.
No, you're good. But if you like dystopian, shows
I do.
With that dark vibe, it's good. It's crazy. It does ramp up at the end of season 1. I don't know. I haven't watched season 2 yet, so I don't know. Yeah. But everybody says it's great. I need to do it. So, what about you? Faves and fails.
My fave of the week was finishing my half marathon yesterday.
Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, it's finally done. Running. Yeah, me too.
Good for you.
It's finally done. It's the second one that I have done. I did my last one back in 2019. I actually ended up beating my time. I was not trying. And in fact, I forgot my Apple Watch at home. So I was not paying attention to my pace at all because I literally had no device on which to do so. I
you were just raw dogging running? You weren't listening to anything?
No, I had my phone. I had my phone.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's like, I could never.
No,
the only way I get on the treadmill is because I have something to entertain me.
Oh, yeah, no way. I definitely had my phone. I was listening to music for sure. I made like a little playlist on the way down there for it or whatever. But I couldn't keep track of like my pace per mile because I was like literally just running, you know? So, but I still beat my last time by 2 minutes. So that was really cool.
Yay! Yeah.
And it's done and over now. So I can move on with my life.
Yeah.
And so, that was one of my faves. My other one, this is an honorable mention. Well, it was fun just getting to hang out with my husband yesterday because he ran the full marathon. I ran the half. And then we freaking went to Applebee's afterwards and got burgers and fries because it's like, what else are you going to do? And then we went back home and I kind of like read for a while and he watched TV. And then we ended up watching one of the like old Batmans, like the one with Arnold Schwarzenegger in it. Like so corny. It was so funny. And we tried the new s'mores Oreos and they're so freaking good.
S'moreos?
Yes. Literally, that's what they're called. They're so good. So those are all my faves of the week is like literally just yesterday was like a whole fun day. Go get the s'mores Oreos. They're so good. And then my fail of the week.
Not sponsored, but we sure wish it was.
Yeah, oh my gosh. That would be so amazing. My
Oreo, if you're listening, it's me, Margaret.
I don't really have a fail of the week. Like when I was thinking about it, I was like, all I did was like work and then run this run and like do podcast stuff. Like I don't really have a fail of the week. Aside from the fact that I feel like everything has just been really crazy lately. So I've been feeling very like frantic, but now that I'm not having to like train for this run and do long runs and stuff, it'll free up a lot of my time because my workouts will go back to an hour a day. you know?
Yeah.
So a lot more manageable, which is great. And yeah, I just have a lot to do before the next time that we go out of town. So that's my only, and it's not even really a fail. Like, I'm glad we get to go out of town and stuff, but it's just lots of things happening all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like, and I'm like, okay, I need to take a breath.
Yeah.
A little
Definitely.
bit. But that's it. I didn't have any like notable things that really stood out. So
yeah,
that's a good thing. No news is good news. It is a win.
Yeah. There you go.
Okay, so why don't we just get into our spoiler-free reviews, star rating, and spice rating for Spark of the Everflame, Book 1 in the Kindred Curse Saga by Penn Cole.
Sounds good. Let's go.
I rated Spark of the Everflame 4 stars. It was like a fully enjoyable romantasy story with a very compelling world and magic system built in that was also very easy to understand. Making it very accessible, I think, to people of all different kind of like reading styles and backgrounds. So that's why I rated it 4 stars. And at this point, yeah, the spice in this book would be like a 1 spice. Like very, very mild.
Yeah.
Very mild.
Quick. Yeah. So.
Like, it's there, but it's not like...
It doesn't go into detail.
It doesn't go into detail. It's not closed door fully, but it's also not like a whole big, long saga either. Yeah.
Yeah. Definitely.
What about you?
Yeah, Liz and I were talking about this because it's hard. I'm trying to abide by my own star rating system and my own rules because there's nothing wrong with this book. There's nothing wrong with it.
Yeah.
It's just on my scale rating for stars, a 5 is usually something that I'm constantly going to be thinking about or is life-changing. Okay? So I'm going to say it with that. So for me, this book 1 isn't quite that. There's a lot of potential and I'm excited to keep going though. So for right now, it's 4 stars. And with that said, Akatar, the first book, is a 4 stars, but look at where it got us and I love it, you know? So it's not that it won't be, it's that that's where I'm at right now. Yeah. So I'm like all guilty feeling, but it's just because it's like, it's hard because there's nothing wrong with it. It's a great book, but it's not, I guess it doesn't hit the 5-star life-changing feeling yet.
Yeah,
but TBD.
I would agree. But it has all of it's laying all the groundwork. It has all of the markers of that's where it's going.
And also, that's with the lens of a 30-something-year-old. So for me, I was also telling Liz, like right now for book 1, it feels like, a more introductory into fantasy. So I would definitely recommend it for people that feel maybe too overwhelmed with some world building. This one is very easy to understand. You're in it right away. You feel like you're invested, but it's not high stakes yet and it's not complicated. So for a first-time fantasy reader, I think this would be a great choice.
Perfect. I agree.
And 5 stars. So it depends what lens you're looking at it through. So I'm comparing it to other fantasy books and that's where I land. So hey.
Yeah. Maybe if you're looking to get into the fantasy genre, you don't really know where to start. I feel like this would be a great book because you're not going to be sitting there in the beginning like the lady with all the equations around her head. Like, it's not going to be like that. I feel like I love the magic system. I love the world. Like, I was really sucked in. It's beautiful storytelling, but it wasn't overly complicated or... I don't know. I didn't get bogged down in the details like that can sometimes happen in fantasy books. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
So you guys can expect a 4-star read, 1 spice read from Spark of the Everflame if you're thinking about getting started on this. But should we get into our spoiler section?
Let's go! Spark of the Everflame. Spoilers. That's the sound of a fire sparking. Get out of here. Go on, get it. If you don't want spoilers, check out that interview that we did, though, for some more details and insight about the author and a little bit more about the themes and stuff that are still spoiler free. So we'll definitely link that. And come back, check us out later when you finish the book.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
All right.
Okay. So the 5-sentence summary for Spark of the Everflame.
The triangle today. Woo! Let's go.
Here we go. All right. Diem Bellator lives with her father, a semi-retired war general, and the only father she's ever known. Her mother, Aurelie, who's a healer at the palace, and her super smart younger brother, Teller, who will hopefully go to a university one day in a world where humans are oppressed by the Descended, a super powerful demigod race.
1.
That was good. That was very, concise ring of the triangle, or whatever you call it.
You earned it.
Thank you. DM has to take flame root powder every day to keep some mysterious illness that causes her to have hallucinations at bay. But when her mother mysteriously goes missing after having a hidden conversation with Prince Luther, she stops taking it because it dulls her senses and she doesn't think she needs it.
2.
Diem decides to take her mother's place at the palace to maintain the bargain for Teller's education, but also joins her boyfriend in the resistance group, the Guardians of the Everflame, to try to figure out what Prince Luther has to do with her mother's disappearance and to help take down the Descended in general. But in doing so, saves Luther's little sister from an accident that almost killed her, earning his cautious trust.
3.
Diem struggles with her quest for answers, revenge, and freedom from the oppression humans face in the society controlled by the Descended, and her realization that Prince Luther, his sister, and many of the demigods in the palace are actually quite pleasant. She agrees to care for King Ulthur, sorry. It's hard to say. Yeah, on his deathbed, where he mysteriously refers to her as the, quote, devourer of crowns, and alludes to the fact that she has a mysterious gift and a connection to the Descended that she is not aware of.
4.
Diem and Luther have an intense confrontation where they feel an undeniable connection, but choose to push it away after their first kiss because of their oppositional places in society and ideals. Diem's father announces he's going back to war to keep the rebels at bay, and in the final moments of the book, Diem has a powerful transformation in which the crown of Lumnos appears on her head, making her the queen, and we also find out her mother is alive.
Ooh. 5.
The end.
Great 5-sentence summary.
Thank you. It was a fun one to write because I feel like a lot happened, but again, it wasn't convoluted, which I love. Because when I'm writing my summary, I'm like, okay, we can actually write what this is about. There's not 10,000 side quests to nowhere. Great.
Yeah, definitely. It's great.
So why don't we just start off with the 3 tropes from this book that we loved the most?
Yeah. Sounds good.
Okay.
Let's do it.
So for me, my first one was enemies to quote unquote lovers. But really what it is just a slow burn right now.
Yep.
They are not lovers, but this is where we see that it might be going in the future.
Yeah. Yeah.
I picked Chosen One. I love a good Chosen One story.
Yep.
And then Hidden Identity. I really liked that. Yes.
Yeah.
I feel like that was kind of one of the things that made this book really interesting to me is that everyone kind of had a hidden identity going on, right? It's like, what's King Luther up to? What's her mom up to? What's she up to? What's Henry up to? Like everyone kind of has like this dual, like, you know, secret life that they've got going on. I really liked that.
Yeah, for sure. You? I put also slow burn, and I said, and it's still slowly burning, but I don't mind.
Yeah, so same. We
can see a burn going somewhere. As long as it doesn't go to nowhere, I'm liking it, right? Brooding MMC. Only soft for her vibes are forming right now. Because, you know, they talk about that his, like, demeanor kind of changes when she's around. Like he drops a little bit, you know, and lets her speak back to him a little bit. And then badass FMC already, you know. Yeah. So before we even know that she has some kind of crown on her, she's holding her own all the time. You know, she's going against Luther immediately and like whatever, Descended, okay. I'm still gonna like freaking tease you and make fun of you. So I can relate to that.
She's like the most renowned war general in the realm's daughter. She's very like highly trained in combat.
Which I also appreciate that she's not a chosen one that's like all, you know, meek and mild. She's strong without anything else going on. Yeah. So she's already has a leg up for whatever happens in the next book, I think. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, and I feel like she is a believable character because while she is strong, she is a trained fighter, you know, she has strong ideals. I think to a degree she knows who she is as a person. She also is young. She doesn't fully know who she is as a person. Like, she, you know, makes mistakes, and I appreciate that kind of balance with her character, you know, because she's not overly confident, but she is, like, she makes mistakes because she is confident in certain ways, and I really like that too. Yeah. She's learning.
Definitely. Yeah.
She's figuring it out.
Yeah. And I appreciate how Penn Cole is writing her so far, you know, that she does allow her characters to make mistakes and not get it right the first time so far. So be interesting to see if that continues throughout the other books.
Yeah, the one trope I hated, the only thing I could come up with is when the FMC is not catching on to something that is really obvious. And so I like that she is a realistic person. I like that she makes mistakes. She's a well-rounded character, but sometimes you just want to like beat her over the head and be like, why are you not seeing what all of us are seeing? And I get that when you're living it, it's different than when you're like an outside external observer, but still just being like, hey, so you're probably descended. Hey, so you're probably descended. Like, you know, and she's just like in denial throughout the whole book. Like, even once she has the freaking crown floating above her head, you're like, girl.
Yeah. So I think I even commented on Fable about that. I was like, well, this better not be one of those where the entire book we're like screaming at her, like, hello, read the room. And while that is exactly what happened, I just liked the way Penn Cole wrote it. That, you know, she's highly convinced that she has this medical condition that will make her see all that stuff.
Yeah.
And that she has this feeling about the descended, you know, that she can't believe herself to be one of them either. So we're having to see her deconstruct things. So for me, and I think the book was only like, what, maybe 400 pages. So for me, it didn't drive me as crazy as I thought it was going to, you know, because of the way it was written. So I completely understand, though, why you guys, it would drive you crazy. But for me, I was like, okay, as long as it doesn't go much farther than this. After she has that crown, we'll see. If she's still denying it, then I'm going to scream. You know, if it continues on I've given you enough benefit of the doubt. If it continues on, though, I'm out.
Well, for me, that's just me nitpicking because really I didn't hate anything in this book. Right, it was just if I had to pick something, that would be the thing where I would just be like, girl, figure it out. But it didn't necessarily annoy me either, maybe occasionally, but it wasn't something that was like a deal breaker for me with this book at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So for me, I put... First Love is like, great. And I liked him at first, and then that suddenly took a turn real fast. In my notes here, I put, luckily that was taken care of, and I think that was in reference to, like, her totally freaking out when he proposed.
Oh,
because, like, what an idiot. So I'll talk about it a little bit more later in my least favorite, most favorite stuff. But, yeah, that's what I put, you know. So, hey.
So what about like a micro trope that like stood out to you that you liked or disliked?
Oh, I love a good old person with a crazy vision. So we got two of them. It was great.
I love that.
We got the lady in the town.
Yep.
And then the
King
dying
Ulfr,
king.
Yeah. Yeah.
It gives me like that moment in Lord of the Rings. Like that's who I totally envisioned. I'm just not realizing this. Where he's like, they turned him into an old person and he is like, you know, all crazy with the foggy eyes.
Yeah.
So that's what I envisioned as King Uther. That's weird saying it out loud. Ulfr.
Yeah.
That's weird saying it out loud. Okay. So yeah, a good crazy vision person. What about you?
Literally what I put prophecy.
Oh, yeah. It's the same thing.
So I wasn't necessarily fixated on like the crazy old person part. But on the prophecy part, I find that to be really, really interesting. And I love when that's used in fantasy books to kind of like give us an idea of what happen in the future, what's to come.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And good. Just to give you guys some more visual treats, the lady I imagine in the village telling her vision is like the Princess Bride, and she's like, boo, boo. So you're welcome for that. That's who I imagine.
Perfect. There you go.
Might be totally wrong based on the description we were given in the book, but that's what came to mind. So there you go.
Yeah. See, the only description that came to mind for me is like if you've watched House of the Dragon, I pictured King Ulthur as like the king that was dying in House of the Dragon. And that was a little bit less entertaining. It was more just like scary and kind of like, yeah. But hey. So here's a question for you. I feel like this book is getting really popular right now on Bookstagram, Book Talk, just in general. We've seen it everywhere. Target, Barnes & Noble. Like, it's literally everywhere now.
Yeah.
Do you understand why? Like, should it be that popular? Does it deserve to be that popular? What do you think?
Yeah, totally. The more the merrier. Let's go.
Yeah.
What about you? Yeah.
Yeah, I put it's warranted 100%. I said the world and magic system is so well done but easy to understand, so it's great for fantasy newbies. I love that.
Yeah.
Yes. I love that. There's so many good fantasy books that I absolutely love that I feel like when people ask me for a good introduction, I'm like, ooh, like this is really good, but I don't want to like scare them away from the genre.
Totally.
And this is just, it's like a shoe-in. Like, please just read it. Like, if you love romantasy, read it. If you're a fantasy reader, read it. If you're not, read it. You know what I mean? It's like, everyone can enjoy this. It's good for everyone.
Yeah. It's rare that a book can do that, I think.
I agree.
You know? And this one does it. Yeah. It's going good. I get it. It's good.
So what about your favorite part?
I honestly loved any interaction between DM and Luther.
Oh.
Loved it.
I did.
Ate it up with a spoon.
Yep. Yep.
So good.
There's something
the banter.
About, yeah, about an author who can write a slow burn in such a perfect way.
Yeah.
It's like I love his character. I love her character. Like, yeah, their banter together. Like, neither of them are giving away too much, but just enough to keep the other one interested. I love it. And then obviously we have this like really great, I put for my favorite part, the kiss. They only kiss once in this book, guys.
Yeah.
But it is a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Made it count.
Yeah, they made it count. And it was just the perfect amount, I feel like, you know, it's like, I love myself a good spicy book. You guys know this about me. I love romance. I love dark romance. It's great. I also really love it when a book like this can have us rooting for two characters who literally kiss once during the entire book, and it's just as satisfying. You know what I mean? It's like, I love that. So, yeah, I put the kiss, the infamous kiss. From book one.
Yeah, definitely.
What did you put for your least favorite part?
Least favorite part? Okay. So this is where I didn't love her constant denial of her power.
Yeah.
But I also get it. But it was frustrating. And we didn't fully see the scope of her power, but it's a fairly short book for fantasy, so I suspect we'll see more. So that was my prediction, and that's what I said on the note. So yeah, we already discussed it at length. I wrote this like a month ago, so now I'm like, oh, it's all new information again to me. Just as new to you guys as it is to us. Yeah, what about you? What is your least favorite part?
I put her going around thinking she's a rebel. Like, it bothered me. It was like, it's a very young and passionate viewpoint, right? I feel like we've all been there, you know, where we're very, very strong in our convictions, but don't really necessarily, there's no nuance to that belief system, right? It's like you're very stuck on believing this one thing, and we don't exist in, you know, the gray areas, and we don't understand that the whole world is a both and situation, right? And so I think that that's what we're watching DM figure out. And so I think that it annoyed me because I was like, okay, great. Now you're working, you know, with Henry for the, like, basically the underground rebellion movement. And she's thinking that she's qualified to do these things, but she's really just like running around the castle like a crazy person. Just like wreaking havoc. And I mean, you know, it's endearing, but it's also kind of funny as like kind of watching Luther just like rein in this like feral creature in his kingdom. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
And I love his character because he's just, I don't know. I'm like, do we know how old Luther is at this point? I don't think so.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well,
they're immortal in a way, they said, right?
Yes.
So they like to a point. Yeah. So yeah, I don't remember.
My inclination would be that he's quite a bit older than her, but if not quite a bit, at least some, and he's just very, it's like you're saying, tall, dark, and handsome, broody, quiet, calculating. And so you get where she's just kind of like, I'm young, I'm impassioned, I'm crazy, I'm going to be running all over the kingdom trying to be covert, even though it's like, are you being covert at all? And Luther is just kind of like patiently watching this play out, and I just love that about him. And so sometimes though kind of annoy me where I'm like, girl, what are you doing? Literally, what are you doing? You don't know what you're doing. You're just gonna get caught and get in trouble, and then the only reason why you don't get in big trouble is because Luther has a thing for you. Basically.
Well, I think she touches on it briefly here about just like, it's almost kind of with exactly what you just said. You see the juxtaposition of how a mortal would operate versus an immortal. So the immortal have all the time in the world. They can be slow, patient, methodical, where the mortals feel like they're on a time crunch because as far as we know right now, she's mortal before she gets that crown. So she feels like, at any minute she can go and is going to be dead. So you need a time's a ticking, so you have that wild side. Definitely.
I just picture Luther just like standing there in the castle, just like all 6'7" or 7 feet of him, just like in his all black outfit, just with his arms crossed, just watching her as she just is, zipping around, threatening his guards with her sword and like doing all this crazy stuff, and he's just watching it happen. You know? Just like, okay, get it out of your system. Get it out.
Exactly. So good.
So then who's your favorite character from book one?
I love Diem.
Yeah.
She's great. Even though she's young and making some weird choices, I love her. She's great. Very well built character. What about you?
Luther is my favorite character. I mean, I love DM as well. Don't get me wrong. She's great. But I appreciate Luther on a lot of different levels because I feel like, we get a lot of MMCs. And I think that Penn even touched on this during the interview. It's like we get a lot of MMCs that are real hardened and, they've had such a tragic backstory that they come across as very, very closed off and kind of grouchy and mean almost. And we love them, right? It's like we love the like Kingfishers of the world, right? But I feel like Luther is different. You can tell that at the core of him, like he might be quiet and reserved and calm and calculated, but you can tell that he feels really deeply, and he's not someone who's lashing out a lot or being intentionally rude or, being particularly like he's a little grumpy, but not like too much.
He's a grumpy in that he's grumpy at himself. I think that's what's
like
different
a
too.
Self-loathing kind of.
He's self-loathing, but also because he takes his job as a protector so seriously. So when something doesn't go the way he wanted it to, he has a lot of self-blame, So
I feel like he's
Brody in that way.
Yeah, he's like
he's not projecting
character.
on other people.
No, he's not.
Which I think we see a lot of. So that's kind of refreshing.
Maybe that's what it is. Like now that we're talking it out, maybe it's like that maturity that comes from a certain level of like self-awareness. And I feel like that's very obvious with his character because he's not going around taking it out on everyone else. He is beating himself up, which isn't good either, but because a lot of it is out of his control. But I do appreciate that about his character. You can just tell that he's just so passionate and kind at the heart of himself, Yeah, definitely. Agreed. Yeah. What about your least favorite character?
Henry.
Henry, same.
And the way he flipped to misogyny so fast.
Because
I liked him at the beginning.
I know.
I was like, wow, a first love that might be hard to like let go, and I'll care about. Oh, well, she made sure of that. It was out the door. No feelings there. That was also my least favorite part. So Henry asking Diem to marry him and have babies and like be a quiet little, the total Gaston vibes, but he doesn't got the, brute to back it up, I feel. And I think of like a little page boy like running around with his little messenger bag delivering, no offense, mail, but like, no offense to your husband, but like different page boy,
different. Yeah.
But like I just don't. And she never even asked him. I mean, she never even answered when he wanted to be boyfriend girlfriend.
Yeah.
She's like,
read the room.
No. Yeah, read the room. You guys have been like hanging out more seriously for like a week, Yeah. So I just hate it. And I put exactly that. I just hate when guys can't read the room.
Yeah.
She doesn't want that life. Like she literally at this point is even in the Guardians, and you're like, why don't you just live a quiet life as my wifey and like have babies? And she's just like, you've been my best friend my whole life, and that's what you think that I want.
I know.
So
it's like it's also like sometimes it's okay to just be friends. You know? Like
but that's an important thing to learn growing up.
Yeah,
it is.
But I did feel I was frustrated by Henry. And I think it comes back to another thing that you said too, where it's like he's like the guy who wants to be the Luther, but he doesn't have what it takes to back that up. It's like he's all talk. It's like he's all talk.
Oh yeah,
it's like
all talk.
Just unattractive and just he's very boyish, and that's what he's supposed to be. That's what he's supposed to be, because I think, letting Henry go or whatever, not being sure if she wants to proceed with that relationship after he asks her to marry him, etc. Like, I think, it's like it's a coming of age thing. It's a figuring out who you are. And sometimes that means, not going down the path that society or other people want for you. And I think that's what Henry kind of represents, too. I mean, it's more complicated than that, but I think that's a big part of it.
For sure. For sure. Who was your least favorite character?
Same.
Oh, yeah. Okay, good.
Yeah, Henry all the way. For sure. So, do you have any notable quotes for us?
Yeah, so I wrote down, and at this point, I don't remember who said what, but here you go. I think this is Luther actually said this to Diem. Don't choose a mediocre life for a mediocre man. So circling right back to what we just said.
Yeah.
Go be exceptional. If he's worth it, he won't judge you. And if he's really the one, he'll come along for the ride. I don't remember who said that now. Maybe it's the
sounds
healer.
like Luther. No, that sounds like Luther said it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that was beautiful. That was great. Good advice.
Good advice. And it shows...
a lot of people could take that advice, for sure.
Well, it shows a level of selflessness, too, with Luther, where it's like, you can tell that he cares about her. You can tell that there's something more a-brewing, right, between them. But he's also not telling her what to do. He's not telling her... it's not... he doesn't give a touch her and die when it comes to choices that she should be able to make on her own. And I really... appreciated that. Obviously, if it's like a touch her and die if someone were to try to harm her, for sure. But I feel like with the Henry situation, he's like exactly what you just said. She needs to go and she needs to make her own choices. So these are from Diem. I was made of swinging fists and rash words. My edges too jagged and my temper too hot. Nothing about me was delicate. So I loved her, like, where she's a self-aware person also. She's figuring herself out, So I wrote down several of those kinds of quotes. I wondered how long I had until the fire in my soul burned me alive. I loved that. Like, all the imagery, intentional.
Yes.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It was a creature of its own, this thing inside of me. It was a little match that eternally wavered above the pile of kindling that was my shredded soul, a drumbeat that called my temper to arms at every provocation.
Beautiful.
Yeah. I'd always been a spitfire and proud of it, an unbreakable spirit in a world that wanted me to be quiet, small, subservient, but no longer was that spark manifesting in courage or innocent mischief. Now it had become something destructive, something deadly. Ooh. Yeah. Yeah. And then this was just like a general quote. There's more than one way to be strong, which we found out was a huge theme, in general with these books. And, Penn Cole brought it up in the interview as well. Which
definitely.
I really love that.
Yeah.
Okay. So let's just pivot a little bit. Did you pull out any specific feminist themes from this book that you like?
Yeah, so I put down female empowerment, feminine rage, fighting the patriarchy,
Yeah.
Henry, and later her dad also wanting her to have that small, simple life we talked about. And she doesn't want it for herself because it's okay to want that. But when she clearly doesn't want it, you know, and she sticks up for herself. So going against that, those social expectations.
Oh, absolutely.
Especially for us females. Yeah. All those things are what I picked up in this book. What did you pick up?
So I put strength being defined in many ways. So questioning what strength is and who gets to define that. Dismantling of traditional values like marriage. I put eugenics and a corrupt hierarchical society.
Yes. Yeah.
Which obviously is a huge theme in this book. Just with all the laws they have as far as like, you know, the descended not, like if a descended has a baby with a mortal, then they have to kill the baby. So that's huge. Uprising and action to change things.
Yeah.
Healing versus fighting, which was a big theme, which I liked. Quote unquote male versus quote unquote female qualities. So breaking out of the confines society has placed you in. And then I put a lot of fire imagery as well. So yeah, to me, these were all very like strong feminist themes. And to go back to what you had said earlier, to find out that, you know, in no uncertain terms, like these were put in there intentionally for these reasons.
Yeah.
By the author, I just love that. It makes me love DM's character even more.
Yes. Yeah, definitely.
So what about DM to you, if you have any more things to add, stand out about her as like a little bit different of an FMC, like unique? What makes her unique?
I mean, pretty much all the things that we've already kind of discussed a little bit, but like, yeah, willing to stand up for herself and begin to unravel everything that she's known about her life. You know, we're just seeing the starts of that right now. I feel like questioning the status quo and doing it without being afraid is great.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I put that she recognizes that she's living all of these feminist ideals just by existing and doing what she in her heart feels is the right next step. But she hasn't put two and two together yet. So I love that in this book, book one, it's like she, you know, she wants to be part of the rebellion because obviously she wants to protect her people. But then she, you know, she's coming to realize that the descended are also some of them good people. It's just, it's a more complicated situation. It's not so black and white. And I think that she's figuring out that, you know, there's a lot of different ways to fix a problem. There's a lot of different ways to be strong. There's a lot of different ways that, you know, she can help create change in this world that are outside of maybe what she learned growing up. And I love that.
Yeah, we're just like kind of seeing the beginning of, we're seeing her fall into herself and what she believes as a fully formed human, and seeing that, well, both sides are kind of wrong and they're both right, but they're going about it wrong. You know, that, you know, the Guardians are taking things too far. They sent that girl, they got that girl sick so that she could sneak into her. So it's like, at what cost? You know, are you going to do the right thing? And it kind of reminds me of like how, is it the Hunger Games? That's like, yeah, you know, spoiler for the end of the Hunger Games, but it's kind of like, okay, if we replace this, if we replace the capital, are we replacing it with another capital?
Yeah,
you know,
right,
President Coin, for instance. You know, if we're going to go out and get rid of the Descended, are the Guardians just as bad? You know, it's like, we don't, so they're going to just wipe out. So she's having to like process what their intentions fully are. What did she really sign up for? And I appreciate that, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
That she's recognizing things right now for what they are and is going like, hey, huh, what? You know, she goes into that burning building that she felt responsible for, and making a stand against. And now she's going to have multiple targets on her back, you know? Yeah. It's going to be crazy.
Well, she helps to save Descended, who she never would have thought, you know, that she would be risking her life to save.
Yeah. We're seeing her deconstruct everything that she's known. Yeah. You know? Totally. On both sides.
Yeah, and really when you think about it, it's like, you know, at the end when she gets the crown, it's like that moment when we realize, and maybe she realizes too, that she's literally going to have to now walk in the enemy's shoes. And like, what does that mean? You know, how does that change your perception? Yeah. So then the flip side of that coin, so what do we think about Luther? Is Luther a feminist? Like, how does he support her at this point?
Yeah, I think far as what we know, for sure. Just him, like, even... you know, giving her advice on what to do about Henry in a non-biased way, you know, do what's right for you, and trying to help her see herself for what he is. Cause you know, he feels something. Yeah. He's seen her crazy healing abilities that don't make any sense. He's witnessed a lot of things that she's done that don't make sense. So right now I think that he is kind of just watching and waiting and encouraging her to be her full self, whatever that means. So
I agree.
Supportive. I think that shows how can be a feminist in that way.
Yeah, I agree. And I think that, you know, that was one of the things that kind of inspired us to seek out the interview with Penn Cole, was this idea that, you know, when we were listening to her speak on one of the panels, she was talking about how lots of times, you know, the MMCs that we identify with the most, or that we appreciate the most as their characters, it's because they appreciate the qualities in their female counterparts. So in this case, it would be DM, that in real life, women are discouraged or not appreciated for having. And so I think Luther is a perfect example of this type of MMC, because is she literally figuring it out and acting kind of maybe not the smartest sometimes? Yes. But like at the same time, you know, he sees that she is passionate and strong-willed, and, you know, just at the bottom line, she wants to protect the people that she cares about, and all people in the kingdom, really, because she sees value in human life as a healer and in Descended life as a healer too. And I think that he is there to support her, really. Yeah. Even though they aren't together, and you know,
there's nothing in it for him.
There's nothing in it for him. No, at this point, there's nothing in it for him. He's just kind of waiting in the wings. And I love that. I mean, they have that one kiss, but that's it. Yeah. Yeah. So we kind of talked about it a little bit, but do you have anything to add about the spice? About the one kiss and the slow burn?
No, slow burn was great. Love it. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. I wouldn't change anything. I put spice is slow burn excellence.
Yeah. This is how you do it.
This is how you do it. Yeah.
This is how you do it.
Yeah, exactly.
La 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 la.
So, obviously, we're covering all of the books for the podcast. We have Penn on. You guys know how we feel. But I truly, you know, with like 100% honestly will say that even if all of these things were not going on and I had started this book completely on my own behalf without any of this, I would continue on and read the sequels hands down.
Agreed. Same.
Yeah. I feel like it ended on a cliffhanger, but it was still just so good and satisfying, and it wasn't chaotic, and I was just ready to start book 2.
Yeah, it's also that perfect thing. So kind of like, because it's straight and to the point, because we start so many series, you know, through book club that we can't ever get around to book 2. But this would be one that I'm like, I'll easily just keep doing it, you know? Yeah. I switched to the audio for book 2, and I would do that outside of podcasting as well, because it's one that's easy to follow on an audiobook. Yeah. So fantasy is not always that way, you know? So it's one that is like, oh yeah, let's keep going, you know? Let's keep doing it.
Speaking of that, like, because I also have been switching back and forth on this journey between Kindle and audiobook. What do you think about the audiobooks?
I think it's great.
Yeah.
I read this one physically, and book 2 is the audiobook, and I love the voice is like perfect for me. It's exactly what was in my head for DM anyways.
Yeah, totally.
So it's great. Love it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I would say the
follow.
same thing. Yeah, books 1 and 2 just have one audio narrator, so one female narrator who does all the voices, but she's an excellent voice actor, and so not cringy, doesn't pull you out when she does the other voices. She's great. Book 3, there are 2 voice actors, but I have not gotten to any of like the male voices yet, so I don't know anything about that.
Agreed.
Oh, I did put that I do have some, like, I'm excited, obviously, I'm reading the sequels, but I did put a few questions that I had after book 1, right? Like, what actually is her connection to Luther? Like, we can speculate because we've read a lot of romantasy, right? It's like, what is Luther to her? At this point, my inclination was like, well, they're probably mates, right? They're probably fated mates.
That's what I'm guessing right now, because from what we know, like, he just seems drawn to her, and that's just in fantasy. That's what happens next.
Yeah. I mean, we can neither confirm nor deny, but that is how
and
I feel.
truly, I have no idea.
Yeah, same.
Even though we've read, I don't know nothing, and you can't make me say anything, even if I did, but I know nothing.
So that was definitely one question I had after book 1. Who's her real father?
Yeah.
That's another big question.
And is her mother her real mother at this point? I don't know. Like, what do we know? She has a freaking floating crown of fire on her head. Yeah. We know nothing.
We don't really have confirmation that her parents, that her mom is, I guess, technically her mom. I mean, we do know that she's her mom, but, like, do we? I don't know. We can be skeptical.
I question
about
everything
that.
right now.
Everything. Yeah.
If a crown floats onto your head, I'm going to be skeptical of everything and everyone.
Yeah.
Luther's her brother.
Oh my God. I know. That thought did cross my mind, and I was like, oh, I hope not.
Yeah. Like, multiple times. Like, what if they're closely, oh no, they kissed. Oh no.
But no, I don't think that's the case. I don't think she'd do us like that. That'd be so sad.
No. That'd be so sad.
Her dad, who raised her, we know that he's not her bio dad. So we're assuming that her power, has come from her bio dad. We don't know who that is. So that's a question I have. Yeah. We also don't know what her powers are, really. So what is that?
Yeah. We know about this healing thing, Yeah. And that's it.
Yeah, I just put she's a descendant, right? Or she's a descended, right? Like, that's what I put. Like, because it's like we kind of don't have much confirmation at the end of this book. We don't really know what's going on in general with, like, the rebellion. We know her dad is going to go back to war because the rebellion started back up. But it's just, this was a great book 1. I feel like it was giving us enough information to keep us interested, giving us a bunch of questions, but nothing that was confusing or out of place or that was frustrating to not know after book 1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So I appreciated that a lot.
Yeah.
So, okay. Let's just do some reviews.
Okay.
Real quick.
Let's go. So all right, I got the 1 stars pulled up. Shall we start with the worst and end on the hideout?
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
Okay, this is brutal, but that as our 1 stars. Okay. From Nerd Read, 1 star. 1-800-GARBAGE. Oh,
no.
Did I read the same book as everyone else? Because I don't understand the hype. Ooh. Terrible.
Yeah. Oh, that's mean.
Sorry.
I disagree, but okay.
Yeah.
Respectfully, I guess.
Yep. 1 star. Special thanks to this book because I always thought of myself as an insomniac, but every time I picked it up, I dozed off.
Oh, yeah.
I thought this was fast-paced.
Me too.
I don't know.
Me too. I blew through this book. I loved it. Yeah. Oh, my gosh. Okay.
Okay. Let's give a little more context here. Okay, 1 star, maybe 1.5. I'm finally done with this book. I have never struggled or disliked a book so much in my life. Maybe a Legion or Ready Player One. Okay. I feel like those are really highly reviewed books too.
Yeah.
Maybe they don't like popular books. I DNF'd it 3 or 4 times and finally finished.
Oh man.
Never got better.
Crazy.
Hey, not for everyone.
Not for everyone.
Clearly. But I'm looking for reasons other than feeling like it's slow. That looks like the consensus, which is interesting.
That is
interesting
to me. I didn't find it slow at all.
Yeah. Hey, felt drawn out, so predictable. Yeah, I can see. Okay, someone said predictable. Yes, it's a little predictable. Yeah, sure. But I'm here for the ride, so it's fine. If you read enough fantasy books, things can get predictable. We've predicted a lot of things that probably will or won't come true. You know,
Totally.
hey.
Yeah.
But I personally don't get mad if things are predictable as long as it's not like, it borders. Okay, it does border with Diem's character, right? Because her being different is predictable. But to me, I see it as, and maybe we're biased, but I see it as Penn doing it in a specific way, in a deconstructing way. So, but we didn't know that. We read it before we interviewed her.
But what did we find out? Yeah, exactly. But I feel like your theory here was almost substantiated, because remember what she said in her interview? She actually wrote book 2 first, and then went back and intentionally wrote book 1 because she wanted us to see how Diem would have gotten from point A to point B instead of just starting out in point B. Mm-hmm. So I would have to say that I agree with you, especially knowing that information, that I think that this was all part of the plan. You gotta just go with the plan, because I feel like, you know, I mean, I'm only on the beginning of book 3, but I feel like it's paying off real nicely.
Yeah. I mean, and it is frustrating to see, people deconstructing where you're like, oh, you're almost there, but then they're not quite there. Yeah. We're seeing that a lot right now, you know, in life, in the world, in the United States. So it's like, oh, you're almost there. You're almost to the point. But then they're like, but then they back up and they get scared. They get scared of reaching that goalpost. So we're seeing that right now.
Well, yeah. So, and I mean, think about it, guys. It's like, how many of us were mentally and emotionally mature enough to even attempt to tap into our full potential when we were like 20 years old?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah. Good luck. Yeah.
So I feel like, you know, we're watching her figure it out, and I appreciate it. And I love that Penn told us that little nugget of info, because I think that is so telling to it made book 1 what it is. And I really appreciated that. Yeah.
And I think that's why going back to our reviews at the beginning, our personal reviews, while this might be a 4 stars now, who knows? When we finish this series, it may bump the first book up to 5 stars, especially you reminding me what she was saying in the interview, because it's so intentional. Yeah. It changes your perspective. Yeah. Because then you can appreciate the first book as a 5-star level, you know, depending on where it goes. Yeah, so, I agree. Hey, yeah. I do.
So just to hit us with a couple 5 stars, just to bring up the mood a little bit here. So Carrie on GoodReads, 5 stars. This is without a doubt in my top 5 books from 2023. Might even be in the top 5 of all time. Ooh. From the very first page, I was hooked and dove headfirst into the world spun up by Penn Cole. I can safely say this is the only book that has ever made me audibly laugh out loud while I was reading. It felt like I was a fly on the wall following around the FMC DM Bellator. I felt her conflict, felt involved in her decisions, and even cringed a few times when she did something silly, out of line, or downright embarrassing. I was never able to predict what was happening next, which made me all the more invested in the story. I can't even count how many times I would finish a chapter, close my Kindle, and say, gosh, this is such a good book. Yeah. Or tell my partner, this book is so good, to which his response was, and I quote, women control yourself. I will be recommending this book to anyone who will listen and be patiently waiting for the next in the series. So I love that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well said.
Well said. And then Maya gave it a 5 star. She said, I love this book from beginning to end. Literally couldn't put it out of my hands. It was so easy to fall into a reading flow with this book, and I really love DM as the main character. She just feels real. Loved the world building. It wasn't overwhelming at all and was nicely embedded into the story. The side characters are also so likable, except you, Henry. Yeah. And I cannot wait to get more scenes with Luther. So excited to start the second one. So yeah, I feel like those were both very like similar assessments to like how I would talk about this book, you know?
Perfect echo chamber. Yeah.
Perfect echo chamber. Yeah. 100%. So
just confirms our thoughts.
Confirms, I know. So before we wrap this up with a smash or pass, do you have any final thoughts, final words?
No.
No?
No thoughts, head empty. What about you?
No, I think that
that's
this,
good.
wraps it up well, and I feel good about it. I'm excited to keep going with the series and talking to you guys about it because it's just, I love it when, obviously not everyone would agree, but I love it when a series is hyped and then it pays off when you're reading it. It's so satisfying. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yeah, totally. Totally. Agreed.
Okay, so do you want to go first with Smash or Pass, or do you want me to go first?
I went first last time, so it is your turn.
Okay, so you actually gave me this idea, so I bumped my other one off of the list because I have to know, because I don't think that we've talked about this before. If we have, then sorry that I forgot, but I feel like we've been doing this a while now, so that's going to happen more and more often.
Yeah.
So, okay, Smash or Pass, Pedro Pascal?
Oh, no, I don't think we have. Okay, I love the memes and the hype about him. So another thing that's hard for me to explain. However, and I get it because he's really nice and funny. He's a funny dude. I'd hang out with him. As far as the Smash goes, though, I feel like people are going to yell at me, but it's a pass.
That's me too.
But
That's why I had to ask you. Yeah.
We're the only people, the last of us, if you will. Full circle, baby.
I know.
Yeah. He's great, though. I love him. He's hilarious. If you guys have to watch that Nicolas Cage movie with him in it.
I saw it.
You?
Yeah.
Me and my husband were dying the whole time. Pedro Pascal's obviously in it. And so funny. And that's where a lot of the memes come from.
Yeah.
But he's great. Love him. But as a romantic, Smash, no. I'd hang out with you, Smash. You're funny. Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. Maybe he gives funny big brother or that's what I get from him too. Just BFF vibes. For some reason. I know people love him as the Mandalorian, and we love a good masked man. For sure.
Well, he seems very sweet and caretaker, and he's, I think politically he's spoken up about injustices and stuff, so we appreciate that.
Yeah.
But as far as what everybody else sees, good for you guys.
Good for you guys. Yeah.
I get it. I get it. It's just not my vibe, I guess. But hey.
Same.
Yeah.
He's too much of a nice guy for me. You guys know that.
Yeah. If we're talking unhinged here, it's not unhinged enough.
No.
But he is comedy-wise, but
it's
just funny where it's taken.
I was curious.
Yeah. I don't think we ever talked about it. Yeah.
Okay.
Well, although he is very grumpy in The Last of Us.
Yeah,
still. He's such a good actor. I just I appreciate him as a person.
He's a chameleon. I will.
Yes,
he is a chameleon.
Yes.
I will admit that because I feel like he's very different in all of his different roles. And when you hear his interviews and who he is as just his own person, he's also very different. So I love that. It's he can just play so many roles so well.
Yeah, it's like Smash, but not for the reasons you guys think.
Exactly.
Romantically, it's a pass.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah,
but Smash for everything else. Great. Okay. Because I was trying to do something fiery and flamey, and I don't think we've done this one before, but you never know.
Okay.
Lord of the Rings.
Oh.
Balrog.
Oh, the Balrog.
The fire demon guy that comes after. I'm letting the people know who might not. You shall not pass.
Yeah, the guy from the chasm. With the whip. I'm gonna say Smash.
With the whip. Smash. But Pedro Pascal pass. Balrog? Smash. It's a sliding scale, guys.
It's a sliding scale. I mean, if I was also a Balrog, I don't know how that works.
Oh, yeah.
Is that a species or is it just a one-off? I don't know. But
poor guy. He's lonely.
I know. If I was his same species, for sure. Or he gives demon of the underworld, which we love a good paranormal romance. So maybe he would just kidnap me and keep me in his underground fiery lair.
And he seems misunderstood.
He does,
and I can fix him.
Yeah, we can fix him.
He's just trying to protect his realm, guys.
It's true. We don't know.
Justice for Balrog.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. So you're a Smash too?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. You heard it here first. All right, guys.
Sorry, Pedro.
I know, but different. But we're not because we still want to be your friend.
Yeah. It's
Yeah.
smash for different reasons. Great.
Different reason.
Done.
So, I mean, I love that. This was a great conversation about book 1 in the Kindred's Curse Saga. I always want to call it the Kingdom Curse Saga. Kindred's Curse Saga. Yeah.
And I always want to say Kindred Saga's Cursed of Flames.
Great.
So
Awesome. That just flows right off the
it's
tongue.
just a word salad up there.
Yeah.
Jucking around. Yep.
So, yeah. So, you know, if you guys are interested in reading along with us for books 1 and 2, we've got the Fable chats going. Come join.
Come join us and make sure to like, follow, and subscribe anywhere you like to listen to your favorite podcast, including YouTube, because we got books 2 and 3. We're on like an every other week schedule for those drops, but we always we're here every Tuesday. So that way, if you aren't reading it yet, we still are bringing you something. So we have other episodes going in between these to keep it cool, man. To keep it cool. So follow us there, and also at TikTok and Instagram at Besties in the Books Podcast, and Fable, Besties in the Book Club. And you guys, we'll see you next Tuesday. Bye.